Welcome to Art and Soul Insider. I'm Barbara Lynn Burns, and I'm here to help you find your joy, your creativity, and calm through art and wellness. Whether it's exploring new supplies, guided meditations, or inspiring art projects, this is your space to recharge and create. So let's make more art and less stress together. Here we go. Okay, here we start part 2 of this really cool it's a self-portrait, let's say. And so last week we got the basics, and I'm looking down at my painting, and I think it's really cool background. So now I'm going to be painting a face on top, and it'll be somewhat a representation of my face, but I'm going to show you kind of the dimensions of where things go in the face. Like, for example, your eyes are in the center of your face. And a lot of times people don't know that. So I'm going to be doing things like this, but it's going to be kind of cartoonish. It's not going to be realistic, but we're going to have fun painting it. And I'm thinking I might put some pencil crayon on it as well. Now, this session, I'm going to be using a different type of paint compared to the last. So yeah, if you're interested in learning a little bit about faces and the measurements, well, have a watch. So here we are, with my squeaky chair. So I'm very excited about this. I've got to get myself in position here. There we go. Okay. I'm going to be using a different type of paint. Now, this is old paint, very old, because I went to her website, and the website I'm talking about is the wonderful, cheerful, and lovely website by Jane Davenport. And she actually has a whole bunch of supplies that you can buy, artist supplies. And she does these amazing, whimsical, lovely faces. So I'm going to kind of do in her style, kind of, but not really. I'm going to do my own thing. You know me. Anyways, so I thought I was wanting to use her paints. Um, and she used to have these. Used to. These are the Jane Davenport acrylic paints. Now she has something that's called a Gessoh or something. I'm going to let you know what it is, and I'll put it down here. But it's different type of paint. She has inks, she has watercolors, palettes, name it, everything, right? Really wonderful stuff. So I was wanting to kind of pay homage to her today with these paints, but she has new and better things that suit her. So that's what she uses, and I'm going to use this old stuff up, which is good, which works, right? So yeah, I'm going to play with these. Now, these are old, but they're really good. Like, nothing's wrong with them. And what's really cool, it's just going to help make it easier for me to paint a face. Now, I find when I paint faces, I use usually I do a red and a green, put a little bit of yellow in there, and really add a lot of white to it. So, but it's already pre-made here. And she actually, this is two different colors actually, I believe. Or one looks lighter. One looks more cool color. Look, I haven't even used them, see? I don't know what I was saving them for, but yeah. So one looks cooler, but I'm going to use whatever the coolest one is. Again, it might be the same color, but we're going to find out today. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to right now figure out the space where I'm going to put the face. I think I'm going to do the face kind of straight on. That's usually kind of how I do it. And yeah, so I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to actually do a gesso wipe first, where I'm going to put the face, and then I'm going to go over with white. And again, I'm just going to continue on with the Americana, the deco stuff, right? Because that's kind of what I'm doing today. I'm just playing with the old stuff, right? So yeah, we're going to do that. And yeah, And then I'm going to probably put some pencil crowns on for shading and stuff like that after. So I've got my brushes ready. Okay. I've got my good old paper, well, I've got paper towel, yes, right here. And I've got my fabric here ready to absorb the paint. And I've got my 2 jars of water. One's going to be for clean, and one's going to be for naturally when I'm first time cleaning my brush. I've got my blow dryer. I also have some acrylic ink. Okay, so that's the Liquitex acrylic ink. And the gesso, I also have Liquitex. Uh, again, no, I'm not getting paid for this, but this is just what I have. So that's what I'm going to be using. Yeah, and as I said, pencil crayons later. But let's do the painting today. So I'm going to open both of these. One looks a little more yellow. We're going to find out. So here goes number 1. And what I'm going to do too, oh, that's a nice color. That's perfect for me because my last name is Burns, as you know, so I'm a Scottish lass. My great grandparents were from Scotland. Yeah. So, oops. Yeah, it looks like the same color. So I guess I'm going to be doing a lot of facial paintings coming up. So, which I don't mind since I've opened both of these up. So I'm thinking this is the same color. Yes. Okay. Interesting. I bought these as a set, so I'm not sure how I got 2 of these. Maybe there were singles. Okay, so these are all, I don't know if I'm going to need that much. I'm going to take some, they had the pink. I'm going to take the pink, and there's no orange in my set that I bought. So I'm going to be, making it probably a little orange by adding these 2 together. And the browns, interesting. I'm going to probably, let's see how this green, it's kind of a lime though, so it might be different. These 2 will create a brown for me. Okay, so let's get going. So I don't know why I took my paint out so soon, because I have to figure out my face. So I've got a pencil, got an eraser. Is that where I want it though? No. And you know what? If there's some pencil line here that I can't erase or whatever, I'm just going to add it to it, right? Because then it looks like it belongs. Like, yeah, so I want to make sure it's kind of in the center. That's just the way I do it. Jane Davenport, as I mentioned, who we're getting the using her paints, she really oftentimes puts her faces at well, they're kind of angled. They're put to the side. Beautiful thing about acrylic is it dries, right? The only thing I'm concerned about is, see this green line stuff and some blue? That is with the Stabilo. Remember, I put that at the end, and that is, there we go. I think that will come up. So I'm trying to figure out where the end of this tape goes. So I'm kind of guessing, but that's okay. And if it's not in the center, that's okay too, right? We we have to give ourselves grace on how things are. So I'm just going to, I like kind of bringing my face kind of down. My face is more, it's more square. Yeah, it's very, so well, yeah, I'm going to make mine more square then. Let's do that. You probably can't see what I'm doing, and I apologize for that because it doesn't really show that well. Okay, and so I'm just going to put the head here like that, like that. Okay, and I'm going to do the neck. And I'm going to do an elongated neck as well. She, Jane Davenport, does that as well with her beautiful little women that she creates. So there we go. I'm glad and happy with that. So now what I'm going to do, as I mentioned, I'm going to use the gesso. Now, it's not common to put gesso on top of your paint. Gesso is more for your fabric, or like I do with my, paper and stuff like that. But it doesn't really go on it, but you can use it, right? I'm just going around, not really too concerned about it being perfect. Okay. And, not too concerned about it not being solid. You see, I got that smear there from the other stuff, the Stabilo, right? So, okay, I'm coming out here, aren't I? Okay. Now, did I put my neck in the middle? Not really. I'm going to bring it out a bit more. So I'm going to go down like that. Again, I'm elongating the neck because I'm not making a realistic picture. And because, whoops, sorry, something fell in the background. Because of that, I'm going to bring my neck out like that. Still going to be elongated, but I'm just going to bring it out. Now, I usually do not work this way. Oops, I got some water here. Must have been from my drink. I don't usually do this. I like to work on my faces first. So this is kind of working a little different than I usually work. And you know how whenever you try something new, you get a little excited, get a little nervous, right? Well, that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. So, but it'll work out, and it never hurts to try something different, right? We always have to be open as artists. Um, you know, even if you've developed your style or whatever, you still need to be kind of pushing the envelope, right? You want to do that as a human being. You want to always grow. So you see how I'm kind of smearing the paint there? It's because I'm just moving wet paint around. So what I'm going to do, just kind of fill this a little bit more, and then I'm going to get the blow dryer and make it nice and dry, and then that way when we put on an extra coat, it's really going to make an impact. Okay, so you see how this has some blue in it? Yeah, and that's okay. I'm okay with having a little blue in my face. Now I accidentally touched it because I was wanting to see whether it was dry or not, and I pulled the paint there, or the gesso. So we're going to cover it up. Look at that difference just by drying it, right? We're getting it more solid, more opaque. Now, why am I doing this? Why aren't I just painting the colors on top, right? Because remember I have that skin color, right? Why am I not doing that? Because if I put this color on top of the blue, I'm going to be using a lot of paint, first of all, to get it the color. Because what's going to happen is underneath this color, you're going to see this blue. So it's going to require a lot of paint. And on top of that, what's going to happen is it is going to alter the color, right? So you're going to put it on top, but you'll notice that the blue will be pulling through the color. So we don't want that. And let's get more gesso. But you see the difference. So I'm gonna do one more coat of gesso after this, and then I'm gonna just do a light coat of the white on top, and that's just going to be the white paint. Now, what's really cool with gesso, at art stores, you can find gesso in different colors. I actually have gesso in black, and what I'm going to do one time is we're going to do a painting that actually starts with a black background. Pretty cool. It'll be pretty cool. I just have to figure out what I want to do with it, though. Got a lot of things here on my table, so I'm just gotta move things around. Now, am I going to be bald? No. I just haven't figured out what I want to do with my hair. I know I want to exaggerate my hair. And so what does that mean? Well, my hair is kind of curly, right? It's got a little wave to it. But I just want it to kind of exaggerate it. So I'm thinking of having it kind of come out like that, right? So, but I want to get the face going first. Oops, getting that neck a little bigger because of my painting. Try and get it as smooth as you can, especially when you're doing a face. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the basics of the face and the measurements of the face. Now, not every face is like this, right? Because we are humans, we are different, we are unique. And so, some people are going to have naturally different noses. Some people are going to be have different eyes, like there's wide set eyes, there's narrow eyes, there's almond shaped eyes. You see what I mean? Some people have a full upper lip, some people have a full lower lip. That's just kind of the way. Yeah, it's human beings, right? We just change and we're different. Everyone is different, which is kind of cool. There's some similarities naturally between families. Everyone knows, with my family, we all kind of have the same smile where our eyes become really tiny, like slits, but it's a big, toothy kind of smile. Not like the almonds, not like the Osmonds, right? Remember them? Boy, they had some teeth. It was great. I'm going to be using the gesso later for the brown hair, but I've cleaned my brush. Now I'm going to do the white paint. It's pretty covered, but I still see some blue coming up, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind a little hint of something, showing through. That's just me. If you want something more solid, then you do you, right? And again, I'm going to show you how to do eyes and whatever, but if you want to do something different, do something different. Very important that you follow your own truth, your gut feeling about how you would like your painting to be, because that's going to make the painting yours. Just like I said, I'm kind of following Jane Davenport's kind of way, but I didn't. I put my head straight here. She often has a little tilt to the head, little angle. Yeah, but I wanted mine straight on. And again, my neck's much thicker than what she does and that type of thing. So again, it's creating and doing what you want to do. And that's where the good old creative license takes over, right? There we go. Oh, it's really drying very quickly. We have a lot more humidity today because we've had a lot of rain, which is kind of, well, it's very different. We're not used to the rain. It's very dry here in Alberta. My sister always, who's from Winnipeg, and we've got in Winnipeg, in the Manitoba province, there's all these beautiful, amazing lakes, and the humidity is much higher because of that. And so, yeah, she always comes out here and she says, "Oh my gosh, it's so dry," and she lathers up the good old moisturizers on her skin to, because her skin feels so dry. So, boy, it's going to be a little thick. It's going to be probably a raised face. So I'm going to take my pencil and see, I've got blue on my fingers. And so that's what that happened. This was getting a little warm here. And so I must have picked some of this Stabilo and placed it there. So that's what happened there. So you got to watch out for your fingers, right? You can use them for painting too. No problem. One day we're going to do some of that finger painting here. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. You might have to wear gloves though. So yeah, there we go. Just cleaning my brushes because I don't like them to sit in water because it can damage the bristles, okay? So here's my face. I'm gonna, the chin's gonna come down here like that, okay? So now you want to find the halfway point. So I'm going to guess it's this right here. So I'm going to put my end of my pencil there and then go up like that. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so this is where your eyes are. You go, what the heck? So let's confirm that again, right? What is that? Always measure twice, cut once, right? Because sometimes my fingers can move too, right? Oh, no, that's good. Okay, so here is where the eyes are going to go. So I'm going to go kind of like, I'm just going to do little dots here. Okay, there might be not up, straight up and down. Now, eyes are, I'm going to hold this up and try and do it properly for you. Eyes, it's an eyeball. Well, that's not really a ball, but you know what I mean. So the shape around your eye is like, a lot of times people go like this, right? For an eye, like that. Perfect if you want to do it that way. I'm going to make mine a little bit more realistic. So again, going around the ball, I come up and it's going around the ball, right? Now, sometimes I flatten this a little bit more. Sometimes I can make this kind of come down sooner. And then I put my teardrop. And then again, I'm going around that again. And then what people forget often is you often have that skin coming, right around it like that. Now it kind of goes with the ball, but that's okay. Now, also here, you got your tear duct. But then if you're looking straight at a person or looking down upon them, there's going to be this flap of skin right there. Okay? So I'm just going to darken everything so you can just have a clearer vision of it. It's a little shaky because I'm holding it. So there's that flap of skin. A lot of people forget that. And then we have this, right? Because it's going around that ball there, right? So then what people make the mistake too is they often put the iris, or the pupil, sorry, right in the center. Oof, it's not. You only get in the center if someone's completely surprised. Now, I think I'm going to exaggerate my eye a bit. I'm going to make my iris and my pupil a bit bigger. So I start at the top here, come around, and go like that. Okay. Oops. There you go. Now this looks a little sleepier. Now I could have done it a little bit better. And then here I'm going to put my pupil. Okay. And then with the pupil here, there's always going to be, because this is the skin hanging over. Now we might not get this specific, but there's going to be a shadow here. And then you've got your eyelashes. So, you know, with this being cartoony, we could maybe, you know, just do our eyelashes, just kind thickening it up here, right? Like make a thicker line to show, you know, some people would go just like this, you know, a little thing like that coming out, or you can actually add, you know, have them crossing, whatever, like that. Okay. And then always, always, always in your iris and your pupil, you're going to have a bit of white light hitting it. So this will be dark. Okay. And then you have your iris colored part, right? Like that. See? So that's the basic shape of an eye. And that's what we're going to do now. Now, with the eye, too, what's very different is technically there are 5 eyes across. Now, what does that mean? Well, you measure your eye this way, lengthwise, and it's 5 eyes across. So usually you have a center one, center eye, right, as such, and then this is going to be your eyes on either side, and then there's going to be stuff here. Okay, the reason why I'm doing my eyes and I'm kind of mapping things out is because I want to have the white iris show, right? And then I don't have to paint it. If I need to paint it, I will. Now, to exaggerate, we can have the eyes further apart and kind of ignore that rule, right? So I think I might do that as well here. So, but I am going to try and keep them the same length. So again, kind of coming up and down there and like this. Okay, so now take my pencil and I measure. And if I wanted to do it technically kind of the same, I'll start my eye here. Now, one eye is always going to be better than the rest. And I'm not completely over here. So my eyes might be a little downward going, you know, with the other one. But we'll see. Okay, I'm going to go around that ball again. Oh, got to figure out my distance, right? So here to there, here to there. So I'm going to do a little pencil drop there. There we go. Oops, went a little low. Okay, there we go. And then come around like this. I'm sorry if I'm in your way there. And go like here. Yeah, I'm slanted. So let's see how well this erases. Not so great. Well, if it's, you know what, it's slanted, it's okay. I'm okay. You know, I want this to be somewhat of a representation, but if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. I'm okay with that, right? This is just a cartoon kind of version of me. So that is what we're doing. There. So, yeah, this one looks a little bit smaller. It's also, this feels still a little damp too. So I might be doing it sooner than it should be. Okay, and then I gotta do I'm going to do the little flap of skin there, right? Again, we're not making this perfect, but we're making it somewhat good. Now I'm going to try and erase that little dot that I put there. Good. Okay. And it's slanted. Okay. So I'm going to exaggerate my eyes here a little bit more. So I'm actually going to kind of come in more like a circle. You see it like coming in. I'm going, the other example I did here, I just kind of made them kind of right to the edge. What I'm doing with my eye here, okay, I'm doing, it's coming a little bit more like that. See? Right? This looks a little sleepier because, well, I'm more meeting at the center. Well, here is the center kind of with these ones, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So again, trying to get them roughly the same, right? Okay. And besides, your eyes aren't the same. Did you know that in real life? Everyone has your your sides of your body, etc., are not the same. Oh, this is kind of damp here. Okay. Yeah, a little bit smaller, but that's okay. So then what's going to happen here is there's going to be a nose. Now the nose is considered to be 1.5 times like an eye. So you take your eye measurement. Okay, go there. And about a half. I'm going to put it here. And your nose technically fills this whole space, right? Technically. Again, this is just an example, but again, noses can be bigger, noses can be smaller, depends on what you're doing. So technically it comes right down from your iris down. So, and I have a bigger nose, but I'm not going to make my nose big here. So again, there's a ball here in your nose. Okay. And then there's your nostrils come out on the side here. Yeah, I am making them a bit bigger, but it's okay. And then there's the nose flaps, right? And then depending on where the light's coming from, I'm going to have the shadow coming. Yeah, there's lines moving this way. I'm going to make the shadow come that way. So right here, right above, you're going to have, it's going to come down like this and kind of join the nose like that. Now we're going to be painting over most of this, but I'm just wanting to give you an example of this. Only thing I wanted was the good old whites to show. And then here's your eyebrows, right? And then here's your eyebrows as well for this one. The eyebrows kind of come up, at least mine do, flatten, and then come down. And they're not going to be all the same, right? Everything's, and I am a little bit, yeah, I'm a little bit over. This has a lot more space than this, but it's okay. And then I'm going to do my Cupid's bow here for my lip. And my upper lip is smaller than my bottom lip. And again, technically, it goes in between this space, but I'm going to make mine bigger. Okay, yeah. There. And then here is, and I'm going to teach you these and later do the whole face, but, and then this is bigger. Like that. Now, we've got all this space. Well, that's where you get your parts coming in here. Now, I'm going to do my hair kind of coming down like that, because I kind of have it apart right in here in the center. And I'm going to do a little wavy curls like that coming down. So it's going to, and your ears, one thing I forgot to do is actually from your eye to your nose. So it's kind of in this region. So I need to gesso my ears in there, right? Just a little bit, because the hair is going to be covering most of it. Okay. So again, not realistic at all, but it's gonna do its thing. So let's get that gesso out again. And I'm going to do my hair. So I'm going to have my hair kind of come up and down. I think I got some of that. There we go. Yeah, let's maybe draw it out. I'm going to put some words up here. That's why, it's not centered. Okay. So I'm kind of coming like that and like that. Don't know if I can see it. I'll make it a little darker so I can see it. There we go. Coming out like that. And then this is the part again, right here, coming up. Oh, I want it up more. And then coming down like that. Okay. I'm going to draw it darker. Okay. So here we go. There. I'm kind of going the different way with my brush here because I'm right-handed. Kind of going like that, little bump, like that, and out. There. So then I'm just going to kind of cut my hair. My hair's longer, goes to kind of my shoulders. So I'm going to make this all hair in here. And again, I'm going to do my little ear here, right? But again, this is going to be all white. So you won't really see it, but that's where my ears are going to be. Okay, let's just paint it in. So I'm just going to leave a little line here for right now. Show a little of that blue. And it might show through. I might just leave it too to kind of tie it all in, I think it might be neat. These are decisions. Oh dear. These are decisions. Oh, it's okay. It's on the tape. These decisions are happening while I paint. When I have a project, I know what I'm doing. I have a goal, but I don't know how it's going to look at the end. Does that make sense? I know I was going to do a face somewhat kind of like Jane Davenport's, right? But mine's completely different. Her eyes come up and then they come straight down. I wanted mine to be, because I've got wider eyes, I just wanted it to be wider eyes. So there we go, paint that. And again, I'm going to come close. Okay. And I'm going to slide over. You're going to hear my chair as I fight with it. I do need a new chair. I've needed a new chair for a while. This chair is very much like that lovely watercolor brush that I love on that I have. I mean, this is university days. You know what I should do is try oiling it. That's right. Yeah, I just thought of that. Oh, right. Let's dry this. So then our second coat's going to work. And this visual, I'm going to keep the eyes probably the same because, well, they're eyes, but I might change my lips. I think it might be a little too big, but again, the whole idea of doing a cartoon is you exaggerate things, right? So this is an exaggeration. I'm going to try and keep that blue line around. Okay, let's get some more paint on my brush. I will be doing in a future one about brushes and the different sizes of brushes and the different types of brushes, because you've got your flats, you've got your filberts, there's different types, and then there's watercolor and acrylic ones that are different from each other. Okay, gonna need some more gesso pretty soon. That's okay, we got some. So want to keep those lines. Oops, brought some blue in there. Dug a little too deep in my paint there. And you want to keep those edges, especially this is an indication that my hair is somewhat wavy, right? Because I've got these the edges of it, right, showing. And so that tells the viewer, oh, she's got wavy hair. There we go. I'm going to go this way. I'm kind of keeping the ears a different color right now because, as I said, I don't want to lose them. Sometimes I use my finger as a mop to bring paint up, Okay, this is coming pretty good. Oh, I might not need some. I think because it's going to be brown, I don't have to make this perfect. If it's influenced a little bit by the blue underneath, I'm okay with that. I'm just going to do this up here, though. Oh, can't do it. See, it's wet. I keep trying, though, some days. All that kind of fun painting that we did. Look at my hair totally covers it up. If you really loved a certain piece, maybe it was right down here, flip your journal over and just do it that way. There's no right or wrong in that way, okay? So I'm going to clean my brush, get that gesso out, and I think, yeah, if the little blue comes out, I'm okay. Yeah. So it's not perfection, this is where we get to play because it's a cartoon, right? Yeah. So I think I'm going to take a smaller brush out. What brush do I want? Yeah, this might work. I have these other ones, right? I've got a filbert here. This is an old ratty one this is like my student grade ones that I buy for school. I use this for all sorts of things, but yeah, I'm going to use this one. This one came in a set. Princeton is a good name. Okay, this is a Princeton. This is 3/4 of an inch. It's a lunar blender, so you can blend things, but I'm just going to use the good old paint. So again, I'm going to just lay paint down first, and then I'm going to, exaggerate again. So I'm going to make, the my cheeks, really with a blend of being very visible with the color, right? I'm going to do that. see how this just shows up as its pure color because of the white that we planted first. Oh, sorry if my head's in the way. I'm just trying to get an overview of what I'm doing here. Why this looks like an eye, a lot of times you just need a symbol of the eye. And so a symbol of the eye could basically be two lines and a circle inside. And the lines are curved, right? So that's kind of what represents eyes. And we as humans, with our brains and everything like that, we're able to recognize that symbol, even if it's not a realistic visual, right? We can deduce that it is that. It's an eye. So again, this isn't perfect, but it works. Got some raised. I don't want to have any raised paint. You know, by your brushes, sometimes you leave a raised section. I'm going to do my ears here. Okay. I'm going to do my ears over here. I think I'm wanting a thinner brush in here, like, you know, because it's a little thick. But we can always try. It comes to a nice point, this one. It's really quite nice. You know, and you will find when you'll have some favorite brushes. Everyone does. You know, when you start getting the collection, like with me, when I first started, all I had was that I bought 2 watercolor brushes, and they were the same, same style, same number. Yeah. So I'm just going to paint over. Okay, and I should be able to see some of it. Now you have to be careful with this because it can smear. My color's a little dirtier, not really that much, but it is dirtier. And remember to get that symbol of wavy hair by having a wavy line, right? So as you can see, this, I'm going to bring it closer to you so you can truly see. Oh, let's try this with this brush. So because this is going to be more cartoonish, you are going to actually, there'll be evidence of lines. You will see on the face, and usually the face is just full of shadows and that type of stuff. So yeah, we're gonna make it a little bit more visible. I've got it really loaded with paint, and I don't want to have lines. You know what I mean? Like you know how you get those thick lines when you do a pull like this? Because I'm going to be doing lots of stuff on that line close to the eye, because that's where the eyelashes are going to go. Oops, forgot to paint this part. So watch when you're pulling your paint. See how it's built up? You know, there's no paint down near the tip where I'm using it. It's all on top. So make sure sometimes what I do is just flatten my brush and pull, but you have to be careful because it might be in the middle of drying, and that's not good. You'll get some goopiness. Okay. And I'm going to just go over this again carefully because we don't want to smear. Went a little over that line. It's okay with this being such a light line. It's okay. Now, boy, you can sure see the difference. This one, my eye is much smaller, and that often happens. So what some people actually do is they go and they just transfer one eye that they like and put it over, flip it over. Like they use carbon paper or, paper or whatever, pencil and paper to do that. So, but I'm okay with this, that's fine. Okay, and now let's go here. Now we're going to have shadows. That's what makes up the face, is light, color, and shadow. So there's going to be highlights hitting your face. And then there's going to be shadows hitting your face. And then there's the colors that make up your face, with the pink coming out of the cheeks and stuff like that. So, because this is cartoonish, we're going to exaggerate some of those things. Okay, so I'm going to blow dry. So here it is quite streaky, right? You see the white underneath the paper, you see more of the solid color. So I'm wanting to make it a little bit more solid of a color. That's what I'm trying to do. So, you can thin out the paint. You can do that with acrylics. Or you can just do another coat. Yeah, because acrylics can be thin, but you have to watch out that you don't thin it too much. And the reason why I say that is because if you thin it too much, it actually affects its makeup. Because the acrylic is, they have special binders and everything to keep the color true and stuff like that. So you have to be careful when you're doing, adding too much water. And that's what I try not to. If anything, then I want to use my acrylic inks. Okay, so use my acrylic inks to do that, and yeah, that works much better. So I'm kind of losing my eyebrows here and some of the things that I drew, like they're still faintly there. It's kind of neat to kind of go with and paint in the direction things are going, right? So here's the cheeks coming around that way, right? So I'm going to do that with the cheeks here. I'm going to paint straight down here. Try and not get it bumpy, right? But again, this is a caricature, so if you have some bumps, you have some bumps, right? You gotta not be hard on yourself. And especially with this one, this might be your first time drawing a face. So be extra gentle on yourself. Don't be so hard. Boy, we're hard on ourselves, aren't we? So gotta be gentle. Yeah, see, it's much more solid now. You're not seeing those lines that we had before. And even with this second coat, if we get some lines or some lighter colors, that's okay too. Like with this type of thing, we don't have to be perfect. Like if we're doing a realistic one, well, that's completely different, right? Gotta be good with that, or do your best, right? But that takes years of practice, right? That takes years of you creating with the medium, getting to know your brushes, getting to know how the paint responds in the environment you have. Because, I've mentioned it numerous times when I've done some paintings that the humidity in the air will affect how you do your techniques. Like some techniques might go really quick, but some might take a little more time. And that is because of the humidity in the air and how it's working with your paints. Okay, so I'm going to take I got a little bit of that pink. So what I'm going to do is take this pink, and I've got a little bit of the skin color, and I'm just going to mix. Okay, so that's getting a little, has a little lavender in it. Interesting. So what I want to do, because I'm going to be painting those cheeks, I don't want any of this skin color. See how it was right on near my ferrule there? I want to have everything mixed. I might use white. And you're saying, what? White? I'm thinking of using white to do some highlight stuff right now. So things aren't as, very one color. Yeah, maybe I'm going to bring some white and then go into this pink. Now I got to have enough of this pink, I'm telling myself, because, I don't want it to dry out, right? And if it dries out and I add a little more pink and don't have that exact color, I'm okay. Okay, so I'm going to take my white and I'm going to see how it works with this paint. I've never used these paints, as you can tell, because of the stopper on them, that middle stopper. So I'm going to take this, and what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to make it a little more liquidy. I'm going to add water. It's going to be a light wash over, and see how it lays on top. Okay. And I've got a little bit of this color in there. I'm noticing it's not as white as before. And I'm going to get a paper towel so I can do some lifting if I want. Okay, so here we go. So the sun's maybe coming here. I'm going to go down my nose. There we go, just a little lighter. Okay, it's going to come right around in here, in this area. Okay, got to get it fast before it starts to dry, right? There we go. And got to get the forehead a little bit more here. Yeah, there it's hitting. There's going to be a shadow there too because of the hair, right? There we go. There. And I'm going to do a little bit on the neck here. Oh, got to get that more paint right down here. Because remember, the light's coming this way. So again, go like that. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit under the eye because remember our cheekbones. What gets the light first? Well, sometimes our cheeks get a little pink, right? There we go. There we go. And I'm going to bring this up closer so you get to see exactly kind of what I'm doing here. Because it might not be that evident for you. And I'm going to do some right underneath the eyebrows. And some right underneath the eyebrows here. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to bring a little light here. A little light up coming up here. Sorry, I mumble when I'm working, because usually, I'm alone, and so sometimes I mumble to myself even when I'm not recording. So can you see the lightness? So I kind of hit a little lightness here because the light would come here. Our foreheads always get the sunburns. You're talking to a very fair lady here. And then along the nose, and I'm going to accentuate this a bit more, around the mouth here, okay, because that kind of protrudes out. A highlight underneath the eyebrows, because, have you ever seen a woman made up? This area underneath her eyebrows is always a little bit lighter. And then I added whiteness around here. Okay, there we go. So now I think I'm going to do that with the pink. I'm going to add some water. I'm going to water it down. And it might go a little lighter because I've got some white still in here. And that is fine. So you have to be careful when you're doing, like here with the white, right? I was just tap, tap, tapping. I wasn't concerned that there would be white going anywhere else, but with this color, I have to make sure when I tap here, I maybe turn it and get a new piece. You have to watch out when you're tapping, not to tap and there's still color, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to transfer it to any place that you don't want it to go. So I'm going to do some cheeks here. Okay, and I'm going to lift. Got a little bit of the edge there. Oh, we're going to can build that up a little bit more. I'm going to do right in here. Whoops, went too high. I'm going to get that rid of that. There we go. Right in there. So I'm going to come over and do a little bit more white there. I'm going to build it up again. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to build it up again. Got to watch out. I had a harsh line here. I don't want any harsh lines. I want it to kind of all blend, right? There we go. I'm going to do a little bit more. I got it all kind of, I'm still doing the one side, right? So, because I know I've got pink here. Let's get some more water. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit more. Nope, that was too watery. I actually lifted up some of my color from before because it wasn't completely dry, right? Okay, so it's kind of lifting. So I'm just going to actually leave some of the color there now. Okay. Again, this is more of a play on the colors, right? Oh, there's a little bit of a sharp line there. I didn't see that when I was doing it. A little chin action there with the sun kissing it. Sun kissing it. Yeah, there. Okay, that'll be good enough. I'm going to take my thinner brush, I think. Yeah, that filbert's a little smaller. Yeah. This one, make sure the paint is out and somewhat good. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to take this is a filbert because of the curve here, right? This is number 2 Gum Bracker Academy one. So, yeah. So I'm going to paint the lips. I'm going to put some pink in there first. You know, I could keep it pink even, I'm thinking now, right? I might add a little red to be in the shadows of it. You know what I'm saying with the shadow? Like just to deepen some parts of it. Whoops. There we go. Yay. So I'm going to let that dry. Yeah, I'm thinking the pink might be good. I was wanting to do a little bit of the pink underneath and have the red be the dominant color, but I think, yeah. Granted, I don't know. Pink's not a common color for me, unless it's like a fuchsia. But I don't think that's in style now. You know how the styles come and go, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to bring in a little of this. Well, it doesn't give colors either. So this is a dark navy blue. Now, oh, look at, I opened this for some reason a long time ago. Now I'm just going to take a dip of it. Oh, it's separated already. So that's the thing with taking off the cap, right? This one I had no separation of the colors because it was just like from out of the factory. But because I opened this one, right, there's going to be some lack of mixture, see? So I got some of the binder or some of the other good nutrient, not nutrients, well, nutrient for the color. Not for me. Let's try again. There we go. There. Okay. So I'm